COVID-19 clusters detected. COVID-19 situation in Malaysia well under control. Good afternoon, you're watching Updates at Noon. I'm Azlani Adani. The Health Ministry yesterday revealed 3 new clusters, including one in Bukit Bintang, Kuala Lumpur, which saw 10 test positive for COVID-19. Health Director General Dr. Noh Hisham Abdullah said the cluster in Bukit Bintang involved 9 Bangladesh nationals and a Malaysian.
Kes indeks bagi kluster ini iaitu kes 8,494 merupakan seorang lelaki bukan warga negara yang telah menjalani saringan COVID-19 untuk masuk kerja dan didapati positif pada 15 Jun 2020. Siasatan dan saringan COVID-19 ke atas semua kontak rapat telah dijalankan. Setakat ini seramai 274 orang telah disaring, di mana 203 adalah bukan warga negara dan 71 adalah warga negara Malaysia. Hasil siasatan mendapati 9 orang dikesan positif COVID-19 dan 265 kes ataupun individu didapati negatif COVID-19.
The Kuching construction site cluster, meanwhile, had 3 confirmed COVID-19 cases, with the 3rd case testing positive when undergoing screening at a private clinic. The patient was the chief supervisor of 2 Indonesian workers who tested positive for COVID-19 on 16 June during a screening at the workplace. For the Ulu Langat condominium cluster, the index case was a Tahfiz school student who tested positive for COVID-19 on 18 June.
Sehingga 24 Jun 2020, seramai 40 kontak rapat telah dikenal pasti dan disaring. Daripada jumlah tersebut, 26 orang adalah bukan warga negara dan 14 orang adalah warga negara Malaysia. Keputusan saringan adalah seperti berikut. 3 kes dikesan positif COVID-19 setakat ini, 30 kes negatif COVID-19 dan 7 kes masih menunggu keputusan.
On another note, Dr. Noh Hisham said with the COVID-19 situation in Malaysia well under control now, the Health Ministry projects 0 new positive cases can be achieved by mid-July, provided the people fully comply with the Recovery Movement Control Order RMCO Standard Operating Procedure SOPs. He cited a New England Journal of Medicine report that stated that social distancing alone could contribute to a 65% drop in new infections as a factor for the confidence.
Unjuran kita memang mengatakan dalam pertengahan bulan Julai, kalau rakyat Malaysia patuh kepada SOP, kita boleh mencapai sifar. Jadi tindakan itu bukan tindakan Kementerian Kesihatan, tetapi rakyat Malaysia kena patuh kepada SOP.
Meanwhile, Dr. Noh Hisham said the reason social gatherings like weddings, anniversaries, birthday parties and religious events were being allowed from 1st July was because the COVID-19 situation had been well managed. He said it was to allow a strike in balance between life and livelihood so that there could be a semblance of normalcy but without compromising on the need to follow the SOPs. However, he said the Health Ministry would remain vigilant and that the venues of these gatherings would be ordered closed if they contributed to new cases. Malaysia has welcomed Saudi Arabia's stance to consider allowing Hajj pilgrimage for this year to proceed for the Muslim population from other countries who are already there. Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein, in a joint statement with Minister in the Prime Minister's Department Religious Affairs, Dr. Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri, said the matter was conveyed through telephone conversations with Saudi Arabia's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Prince Faisal Farhan Al Saud. The 2 ministers also called on all Muslims in Malaysia to pray for the COVID-19 pandemic in Saudi Arabia to end soon, so that the Hajj pilgrimage next year could be carried out as usual. Following the COVID-19 outbreak, Saudi Arabia in late February decided to suspend pilgrims' entry to perform Umrah in Mecca and to visit the Nabawi Mosque in Medina. In a bid to prevent further spread of the disease, in mid-March, Saudi Arabia decided to suspend all international flights and restrict incoming and outgoing traffic to several cities, including Mecca and Medina. Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob says Malaysia will not allow the entry of domestic workers into the country just yet. He said this was because a majority of those working in the sector are from COVID-19 high-risk countries.
Kita belum benarkan lagi. InsyaAllah dari masa ke semasa kita akan bincang. Seperti saya umumkan setiap masa ni banyak kelonggaran-kelonggaran. Tetapi ianya secara berperingkat. Secara berperingkat-peringkat. Bukan bermakna sampai bila-bila pun tidak boleh. InsyaAllah sampai masa je kita benarkan.
The senior minister said the country had not opened its gates to allow foreigners employed in most sectors to return, particularly those from high-risk countries, adding that this included maids. On another issue, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri noted that the crew of ships could pass through the country either to board the ships that they were assigned to or to go to the airport once their job was done. However, the permission is only for a direct trip from the airport to the port to board the ship or from the ship straight to the airport to return home. Selangor police have arrested two men believed to be involved in drug processing and seized various types of drugs worth RM198,805 in two raids carried out in Ampang and Sungai Buloh on Monday. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Nur Azam Jamaluddin said police arrested a 53-year-old man in the first raid at a two-story terrace house in Taman Tun Abdul Razak, Ampang at about 9:15 p.m. During the raid, police found two translucent plastic packets believed to be containing heroin weighing 26 grams and one clear packet filled with shabu weighing some 13 grams. Apart from that, police also found two plastic bags containing 20 translucent plastic packets filled with about 900 grams of heroin and a box filled with the same type of drug weighing some 13 kilograms. He said police also confiscated 4 vehicles including a BMW KT 800 motorcycle and 4,000 ringgit in cash. The Selangor Police Chief added that following some investigation and questioning, police detained another man aged 49 at the 3-story bungalow in Sungai Buloh the same day. Upon investigating, it was discovered that both suspects were processing drugs for the Klang Valley market. Meanwhile, in a separate case, he said Selangor police nabbed a 38-year-old man at a car park in Puchong Jaya, Serdang on Monday afternoon. According to Datuk Nur Azam, police found a paper bag containing 5 packets of what was believed to be ketamine weighing 5.1 kilograms worth 229,500 ringgit. The 3 suspects in both the cases have been placed under remand for 7 days beginning Tuesday under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Police have arrested a senior officer as well as 2 officers from the Immigration Department JIM suspected of being involved in the trafficking of migrants. Johor Police Chief Datuk Ayub Khan Maidin Piche said the 3 aged between 30 and 48 were arrested yesterday at the Pasir Gudang Ferry Terminal in Johor.
Peranti yang digunakan oleh suspek-suspek ini dalam menyediakan cop keluar masuk Immigration Malaysia yang disyaki palsu bagi menguruskan penyeludupan warga Indonesia yang tamat tempoh PAS lawatan sosial sebelum perintah kawalan pergerakan.
Datuk Ayub Khan further noted that smuggling syndicate from Indonesia through the Pasir Gudang Ferry Terminal to Batam Centre, Indonesia, had been active since early May when the government implemented the Conditional Movement Control Order. He said they are currently being investigated under Section 26A of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants (ATIPSOM) Act 2007 by adopting an investigative procedure under the Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012. Apart from them, he said a 41-year-old Marine Police officer at the Marine Operations Headquarters in Putrajaya was also arrested on 19 June for allegedly engaging in migrant smuggling syndicates since 2017. He said the suspect is currently under investigation under Section 130V to 130ZB of the Section 6B of the Penal Code for Organised Crime by using the investigative procedure under the Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012. Coming up next, call to extend loan moratorium need to be thoroughly re-evaluated. The call to extend loan moratorium should be thoroughly re-evaluated despite the higher unemployment rate in April, which stood at 5% or 778,800 individuals. Malaysian Industrial Development Finance Berhad MIDF Group Managing Director Datuk Charan Wardini Mozani said an extension of the moratorium should not be given blanket approval.
Now, if there are certain businesses which require help or certain sectors which require assistance, I think we should target those. Yeah. But to give a blanket 6 months seems to be too much.
Datuk Sharon was speaking at a virtual webinar conference titled Surviving and Embracing Malaysia's New Normal, organised by MIDF. Some quarters recently urged the government to consider extending the 6-month moratorium on bank loan repayments, which will end in September to December, to ease financial burdens of the public. They said this was a much-needed move because the public, especially small businesses, would have difficulties recovering from the loss of income and jobs amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Some analysts, meanwhile, have said any extension could significantly reduce banks' cash flows and may see some impact of the banking system liquidity. Tekun Nasional will soon launch the Tekun Mobilepreneur 2.0 financing scheme to provide financing of up to 10,000 ringgit to delivery riders for the purchase of a new motorcycle and working capital. In a statement released yesterday, Entrepreneur Development and Cooperative Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tengku Jaafar said applicants would need to register with any of the existing e-hailing delivery companies and adhere to the terms and conditions set up by these companies. The program, to be launched on 7 July, is one of the efforts made by the government through the National Economic Recovery Plan Penjana Fund. Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi said an initial allocation of 1 million ringgit will be provided for the first 100 applicants, and an additional 4 million ringgit allocation for 400 applicants will be announced later. Tekun Nasional is an agency under the ministry that provides financing facilities to Bumiputra in order to kickstart and further expand their businesses. Over 211 applications had been approved up to yesterday, involving 394,000 ringgit. The offer is open to all registered riders through all legitimate e-hailing delivery platforms such as Grab, Foodpanda, Bungkusit, Lala Move, My Makan, Zepto Express and Mr. Speedy. For more information, visit Tekun Nasional's website at www.tekun.gov.my. The government is formulating the Tuna Industry Development Strategy 2020 to 2030 in the quest to grow the tuna industry into one of the country's new sources of wealth. Deputy Agriculture and Food Industries Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Hamzah, the plan contains 10 strategies and initiatives for the development and management of the country's tuna industry.
Katakan dia ada 17 vessel, 17 vessel yang beroperasi dan mendapat hasil yang boleh kita banggakan. Kita berharap semungkinnya terus dapat diperkembangkan. Dan memang itu satu daripada matlamat dan dasar kementerian supaya kita dapat sama-sama menerokai hasil kekayaan negara kita.
Datuk Seri Ahmad added that 5,000 tuna satay were distributed to the frontliners at the low-risk COVID-19 quarantine and treatment centre at MIPS in appreciation of their contribution in tackling the pandemic. He said tuna satay was introduced by the Department of Fisheries during the Malaysia Agriculture, Horticulture and Agritourism Show MAHA 2016. Meanwhile, Director General of Fisheries Datuk Munir Muhammad Nawi said the ports of Pulau Pinang and Langkawi have been listed by the Department of Fisheries as tuna landing ports for vessels operating in the Indian Ocean. That concludes today's edition of Updates at Noon. In our top story, 3 new COVID-19 clusters detected in KL, Selangor and Sarawak. Join us again at 7 p.m. for more updates on the latest happenings around the world. Thank you. I'm Azlani Adani. Stay tuned to TV2.